I am Sat Sangat from Sat Sangat Astrology, and this time I'm here to talk about the full moon in Virgo that is happening today. No, tomorrow. Tomorrow in the afternoon here in Central Time. Um, so the moon is in Virgo, and the sun is in Pisces. As always, a full moon is an opposition between the sun and the moon, and those as part of our internal energies, right? The sun is our core identity, who we are, and the moon is associated with our emotional body, the psychic perception that we have of the world. So, being in opposition, it means that there is a certain degree of tension and there is a need to balance. So the full moon happens at 19 degrees 37 minutes of Virgo. So if you know or have your birth chart, you may locate that degree in your chart to find out what house is that located and how it may affect you personally. I may give some hints at the end in order to guide you, but it may make this video too long, and so people are not sticking out too much. So, anyways, so as I said, the sun is in Pisces, and it happens to be conjunct Neptune. Which makes for a very confused sense of being, and also the sense of being merging with the collective unconsciousness. This makes for, as I said, confusion, and also a sense of feeling floating in the collective, and the sensation of having sharing the feelings, especially the feelings, with everybody else. So the axis of Virgo and Pisces is associated with health and service and charity work and medical issues. So I don't need to point out that we are in a health crisis. So, and with the full moon in Virgo, you may be very worried, very, very worried. So it is the normal association with this full moon, which is a full moon that is very close to the earth in the perigee, and it's influencing our emotions and the water in our bodies. It is a very powerful moon that is affecting very much the energy of Virgo. So, what is Virgo? Virgo concentrates on health, healing, cleaning, disinfection, organization, cleansing, detoxing, and any other health related issues and activities, but also administrative and organizational activities that may be needed at this time. On the other side, Pisces is more of a soup of confusion, as I said, where our consciousness is merging with the collective consciousness, and it's that we absorb all influences coming from the collective. So people may be highly affected by listening to the news and and relating to other people. People feel compassion and empathy for everybody. So and also it makes for lack of boundaries. So this makes our aura and our energy feel very vulnerable to any agents that may come as invisible enemies, for example, germs and virus and etc. But also energy influences from other people, right? So Virgo is, the symbol of the sign of Virgo is a maiden, separating the wheat from the chaff, which implies discrimination, discernment, in the time separating what is good from what is not. So Virgo is very discerning, analyzing, classifying, organizing, putting in boxes, and it's Virgo gives information in logical threads of ideas, and ensuing one from another with by reasonable association. So this is very helpful at these times in order to uh, put in order our mind, right, and have a clear understanding, especially because the ruler of Mercury, the ruler of Virgo, is in the sign of Aquarius, and it is stationary direct, and it's turning direct tomorrow, March 9th, right? So what happens is that the mind becomes clearer and stronger, and you may worry more by learning data. So and not being able to put it in, make sense of it. So make sure that you don't have an overload of data, because that can overwhelm you. And with this axis is the requirement of having an opposition between the sun and the moon requires us to make a balance between the mind and the spiritual body, the intuition, because Pisces is also a very spiritual sign. And since we are not just a mind and a body, we also have a spirit. So we should also include in our days, right? Some piece of a spiritual practice. It could be meditation, it could be contact with nature. If you participate in a religious organization or a church or something, you may need to do something in your church, or participating in a group spiritual activity in order to rebalance those energies from the mind and the spirit. That is very important, and it will give you this sense of tranquility and peace and harmony that we so much need. Other ways to stimulate the spiritual part of your life is creativity, making art, for example, drawing, painting, or something like that, or any art that you make. Music also is very stimulant of the spiritual piece of us, and that I was in a concert to see David Russell last night. He's a guitar player. And we were talking with other people there about how music can help us express things that are so hard to put in words, right? And it's the same for any kind of art, not only the music, but any other kind of creativity can help. So I want to talk a little bit more about Mercury turning direct in Aquarius. Your thoughts and the communications can become clear. Now you can learn things that were very confused or hidden or secret before. So it's very important to focus on details, analyze, organize data in order to come up with sound conclusions, right? Mercury is, as I said, ruling the full moon. So there is going to be much reading or communicating or writings about scientific research and data, and you may access a higher level of knowledge about what's going on in the world, especially related to health that we so much need. But make sure that you get the right information, because there's so much coming around, and people are really panicking. And this is not, as I said before, this is an out of balance state of mind. So I need some water. Anyways, so what we need is concentrate on the information, but also having feeding our spiritual body. So between now and March 15th, Mercury will be traveling the last degrees of Aquarius, and that makes for a very urgent sense of thinking, right? We are very, very focused and concentrated on very important issues that have to do with communication. Aquarius is the sign of communication and technical and scientific information. So we might focus a lot on that. And it would be a good time instead of worrying about the situation, it would be a better time to, for example, do some accounting work, or prepare your taxes, or make a study for tests or exams, do administrative work, because Mercury will re-enter Pisces in March 15th, and it will stay in Pisces until April the 10th, which will make the mind, there Mercury will also conjoin Neptune and the Sun. So those are three energies that together make for a total confusion and panic and excuse me, I need to clear my throat. And confusion and also deception. So pay attention to the kind of information you read or you worry about, because it might not be truth. So it also, Mercury is during the full moon is trine to the north node of the moon in Cancer. So this information that we are working with, and whatever we learn then or communicate, is helping us find comfort and security, safety, protection, and the nourishment of this, because Cancer is the sign of home and nourishment and family. So it will work very well with this orientation that we have now towards the North Node in Cancer, in order to find refuge and shelter in whatever you call home. It could be your family, it could be a group of friends, depending on where Cancer falls on your chart. So another thing that I wanted to point out is about, especially in the U.S., on the U.S. chart, birth chart, um, of the July 4th, 1776, the transit Pluto in Capricorn is exactly opposite Mercury, the natal USA Mercury. And this is very important to consider, because there is much, people are in their minds, they have much suspicion. There is also this trend of propaganda. And so we need to make sure that we have a good discernment, Virgo discernment, of the information, the news, the official news from the government. And there is also influence. This Pluto influence is transformative, and it will transform the way that the government communicates with people. And there might be secret communications going on, coercion, and forceful impositions through communication, through information. So here in the United States, it is not a good time for financial agreements, signing contracts of any kind. So in Pluto transit takes a long time. It will be retrograde over the 24th degree of Capricorn again later on this year, and it will be direct again in 2021. So this transit, you can consider that it will last for, let's say, 1 year or so, because it has already started a while ago. So we astrologers take about a 3 degree orb for major hard aspects. So it has been going on for some time. So there is also Pluto rules pollution and rules contamination. It is associated with trash and compost and decomposition, and regeneration as well. So you see those themes going on in the environment, right? So there is contamination in the environment, and it can also affect the removal of trash in neighborhoods in certain places. So make sure that you deal with the trash or everything that you don't need anymore in the proper way. This is very, very important. When you, for example, dispose of things that may spread germs or any kind of pollution, that you dispose the trash in the proper way. Then also it may affect the local transportation or travel inside the U.S. Domestic travel can be affected as well. So anything that moves, like cars, bicycles, may be affected. So be careful when you drive in your neighborhood and things like that. Um, what else? There is with Pluto. Pluto represents, as I said, decay, decomposition, and death. So, death is very much in people's minds in the US. That's not news, I guess, for anybody. But I wanted to make you aware that this is a transit in the sky affecting the natal Mercury of the US. So, this is what is going on. And that's why people as above so below, so people are feeling that kind of energy. So, as I said, it's very important to manage what we do in the environment with responsibility, right? Make sure that you put the trash in its place, that you take care of everything that might be contaminated in the proper way. So there is no need to rush to the store and stock up for 3 years of disinfectants and things like that, because there are many behaviors that are that you don't need. If you adopt the proper behaviors, you don't need to use those chemicals and things. So regular soap and warm water can do the job. Um, Anyways, you can use different products and chemicals as well, but here I want to point out that the behavior is very important in what we do. Again, the mutable signs of Virgo and Pisces, they are mutable because this is the part of the season in the year, the change of seasons. And in the change of seasons, we have mutability. It could be hot one day, it could be cold the other day, and it mixes up. So that's why things are very changeable these days. Um, until we go to Aries, is the springtime and is more of a real radical change. But right now we have a mix. And this makes for everything, especially during the full moon, for everything to be changeable. So you can expect that many things can change in ways that are very sudden, and especially because Mercury in Aquarius is itself ruled by Uranus in Taurus, which is sudden. Changes may be unexpected and frequent as well. So you can expect changes in, for example, the way the virus behave as well. So for a time, maybe it disappears and then it may come back. So things unexpected and very changeable. Um, what else I wanted to say about the moon? The moon also trines Jupiter, which is adding the expansion, right, of this worry and the expansion of this mutation, the expansion of the illness. So, as I said, make sure that you adopt the right behavior and that you are not letting place to the fear and the panic, because that won't help you to think properly. So, as I said, letting go of things, accepting what is, and also a spiritual practice will help a lot with this. So, for more information on the full moon, this full moon, I will invite you to read my blog that I wrote a couple weeks ago. It's the full moon in Virgo, and the website is satsangatastrology.blogspot.com. So it's very easy to find it, and I'll put the link in the description box below the video. And I wish you the very best. There is also another article that I just wrote about Chiron squaring the nodal axis, which you can also find in the blog. And that will talk also about our sense of fragility and vulnerability that we have at these times. Because Chiron is, during the full moon, is already in orb to the T square with the nodal axis, the south node in Capricorn and north node in Cancer. So, and it's very important to understand the role of Chiron in Aries in this full moon. So I invite you to read that article as well. So, as I said, I wish you the best, and I wish you good health and prosperity as well. So, thank you for watching and listening, and thank you so much for your support by subscribing to my channel, liking the video, and coming back, right? So, thank you so much, and have a good day and month. And I'll see you next time with the new moon in Aries. Thank you so much. Bye bye.